Back in the 1980s, Cheers turned a Boston bar into America's living room each Thursday night. But behind the laughter and clinking glasses, there are secrets and oddities most fans never caught. Count backwards with us through 10 of the wildest, least-known truths about Cheers. Number 1. Lilith was meant to be one-off. Let's go back to the cozy, oak-paneled barrooms of the 1980s, where everyone really did know your name. Among the Cheers regulars, an unlikely character almost missed her big chance. Baby Noworth first appeared in Season 4 as Dr. Lilith Sternin, intended to be nothing more than Frasier Crane's prim, slightly intimidating date. Her razor-sharp wit and signature icy stare were supposed to last a single episode. Producers simply needed someone to challenge Frasier during his romantic misadventures. But audiences saw something special in Lilith. Neuwirth's deadpan timing created an instant spark with Kelsey Grammer's neurotic Frasier. After her debut in 1986, fans clamored for more Lilith, and suddenly, what was meant as a brief cameo became a recurring role. The show's writers leaned into her brilliant awkwardness, allowing Lilith and Frasier's relationship to evolve from professional banter to comedy gold, with wedding bells following in later seasons. In the process, Bebe Neuwirth was welcomed as a regular at the bar, bringing a sharp new flavor to the show's ensemble chemistry. Cheers found its unlikely odd couple, and Lilith left an indelible mark on sitcom history, all because audiences just didn't want her to leave. Number 2. The theme song was almost completely different. Soft piano chords and a cozy bar crowd. Today, that's the unmistakable sound of Cheers. But at the very start, the show almost had a totally different musical identity. Songwriter Gary Portnoy, who would eventually craft the iconic Where Everybody Knows Your Name, was asked to pitch several demos before landing on the tune that captured America's heart. One early contender was called People Like Us, a song filled with warm lyrics but lacking that blend of nostalgia and camaraderie everyone craved. The producers, including industry legends like Glenn and Les Charles, were crystal clear about what they wanted. A song that felt like old friends swapping stories after hours. They sifted through Portnoy's demos, searching for that magic that would fit a Boston bar where everybody just wanted to belong. Only after several rewrites and feedback sessions did Portnoy deliver the anthem that would define Thursday nights starting in 1982 on NBC. The final theme is more than catchy. It's shorthand for comfort and community, famously earning Emmy nominations and showing up in everything from wedding playlists to baseball games. Imagine sitting down after a long day and hearing anything else play instead. That first chord and those welcoming lyrics instantly transport you, not just to the bar, but to a place where you always fit in. The song missed the cutting room floor, and television history never sounded the same again. Number 3. The Cheers set. Had no windows for a reason. Step onto the Cheers set and you're enveloped by that signature golden glow, as if Boston's most inviting bar never sees the light of day. There's a reason for that. Producers on Cheers, which debuted on NBC in 1982, designed the legendary bar completely without windows. It wasn't just an aesthetic choice. It was a clever solution to a practical challenge. TV lighting in the 80s was infamously fussy, and shifting from day to night mid-episode created continuity headaches. By erasing all windows from the set, the creators could film any episode at any hour, letting artificial light set the cozy, perpetual night. This decision didn't just clear up production headaches, it created a world that always felt welcoming, tucked away from the outside chaos. Under that low ceiling, with Sam behind the polished counter and Carla slinging jokes, the absence of windows meant every shift and patron appeared timeless. You could walk in at noon or midnight, and it was always the same Cheers, a world where Norm's spot was sacred and every face was familiar. It turned a soundstage into what felt like your favorite neighborhood haunt, no matter when you tuned in. Since then, sitcoms have toyed with all sorts of restaurant setups, but few have captured that Cheers afterglow. Next time you see the crew gather around the bar, you'll know the magic was in the intentional darkness, and the world outside simply didn't matter. Number 4. Shelley Long was the first cast member hired. Before the sound of Sam polishing glasses or Norm's classic Norm entrance, producers knew they needed something special to set Cheers apart. That spark came in the form of Shelley Long. Her unforgettable audition for the role of Diane Chambers in 1982 wasn't just impressive, it was magnetic. With her razor-sharp wit and nimble comedic timing, Shelley didn't just read for Diane, she became the character right there in the audition room. The moment she sparred with an imaginary Sam Malone, casting heads Bob Broder and Glenn Charles were hooked. From that instant, everything else fell into place. Her chemistry with Ted Danson, hired after Long, set the gold standard for TV duos of the era. Without Shelley, there would have been no blueprint for the delicate push and pull that made the show's dialogue so snappy and real. The role of Diane Chambers brought Long 5 consecutive Emmy nominations, cementing her as one of television's most memorable leading ladies. She anchored the emotional heart of Cheers in those early seasons, guiding the quirky ensemble with effortless charm. Next time you picture that Boston bar, imagine it without Diane's sharp retorts, and you'll realize just how much Shelley's presence shaped the place where everybody knows your name. Number 5. The Cliff Clavin character was never in the pilot. Picture this: Boston, 1982. The cozy wooden bar is already bustling, yet someone is missing. That someone is Cliff Clavin, the mailman with endless trivia, destined to be one of Cheers' most beloved characters. John Ratzenberger, originally auditioning for the role of Norm Peterson, tossed out an off-the-cuff suggestion to the writers. Why not add a know-it-all barfly? That spontaneous pitch landed, and in a last-minute twist, the writers cooked up Cliff Clavin just before Episode 2 began filming. The pilot aired on NBC in September 1982, but if you rewatch, you'll notice Cliff is nowhere to be seen. It wasn't until Episode 2 that the man with the mustache and the encyclopedic mind walked into the bar, sliding right into place like he'd always belonged. Soon, his arcane facts and outlandish stories made him an irreplaceable part of the Cheers family for all 11 seasons. Cliff's quirkiness, equal parts exasperating and endearing, sparked real-life trivia nights and inspired countless Halloween costumes. It's wild to think Cheers almost left out one of its sharpest comedic weapons. Sometimes iconic characters are born from pure, unscripted creativity. That's the kind of TV magic you could never plan twice. As the opening notes of Where Everybody Knows Your Name fade, you know Cliff will be there, ready with a fact, true or not. Let's pause for a second. Did you ever spot Cliff's debut, or remember your favorite quirky Cheers character? Share a memory from the bar or a bit of trivia you heard in the comments below. Number 6. The audience knew Sam Malone had a secret. Picture the dimly lit warmth of the Cheers bar, the tap flowing, regulars swapping jokes. But behind Ted Danson's iconic performance, there's a twist hardly anyone catches at first. When producers first drafted the show in 1982, Sam Malone wasn't meant to be an ex-pitcher for the Red Sox. Instead, Sam was conceived as a retired football player. But after Danson landed the part, his tall, lanky frame and quick wit not quite matching the bruising football archetype, producers pivoted. They rewrote Sam's backstory, giving him a history on the mound and the kind of playful banter that just made sense for baseball. In the earliest episodes, though, a few stray lines about his old football exploits linger, like artifacts from a parallel Cheers. The details are subtle but telling. Eagle-eyed fans might notice those out-of-place mentions when Diane first meets Sam behind the bar. This little rewrite was one of many live adjustments as the chemistry between cast and setting found its groove on NBC every Thursday night. Over time, Sam Malone's identity as a Red Sox relief pitcher became as inseparable from Cheers as Norm's bar stool or Carla's sarcasm. It's just another secret tucked under the foam, the kind that makes rewatching Cheers feel like sipping a different brew every time. Next time you hear Sam reminisce, listen closely. You just might catch the ghost of his football past. Number 7. Coach was originally meant to stay longer. You can almost hear the gentle hum of the bar, the clink of glasses, and Coach's warm, scatterbrained wisdom echoing from behind the counter. Ernie Coach Pantuso, brought to lovable life by Nicholas Colasanto, quickly became the gentle heart of Cheers when the show debuted in 1982 on NBC. His simple outlook, endearing confusion, and big-hearted advice kept the Norms and Sams of the bar grounded. But what most fans didn't know at the time was that Coach's time was cut short. Nicholas Colasanto had been struggling with heart disease for years. By season 3, his declining health was quietly evident behind the scenes. The producers, understanding just how important Coach was to the Cheers family, initially hoped for his recovery. But as Colasanto's condition worsened, the show faced an impossible choice. After his death in early 1985, Cheers paid tribute by writing Coach out with a gentle touch. No on-screen farewell, just an unspoken absence that left a subtle, heart-rending gap in every episode that followed. Even now, devoted Cheers fans sense that echoing kindness and loss, like an empty stool at your favorite bar, saved for someone who should still be there. The quieter moments in seasons 4 and beyond offered silent homage to Colasanto's legacy, a reminder that sitcom magic is sometimes carried in the fragile hands of real people whose warmth lingers long after the laughter fades. Number 8. Norm's beer wasn't really beer. Picture that familiar clink as Norm ambles to his bar stool at Cheers, ready for his signature mug. But the secret behind those countless drafts? George Wendt, the actor behind Norm, wasn't guzzling beer at all. In reality, every golden pour was watered-down taproot beer, served up by the producers to give that authentic, sudsy look without the haze or headaches that real booze brings. With taping stretching for hours, the last thing anyone wanted was a tipsy actor botching the next punchline or stumbling through a scene. Root beer solved everything, letting George go through hundreds of foamy beers from 1982 onward, never missing a comic beat. Sometimes, though, taproot beer left a sticky residue. To keep the mugs camera ready, the crew washed and refilled them countless times each shoot. No matter how many mugs went emptied, Norm's bar tab was just another recurring joke, not a real tally of drinks consumed. What looked so effortless on screen was a clever illusion, proving that in the world of sitcoms, the best gags are brewed from creativity, not alcohol. As we leave that bustling bar behind, imagine the scent of root beer lingering in the air instead of real hops. Number 9. The first season nearly got canceled. In the fall of 1982, Cheers poured its very first beer onto primetime screens and almost vanished before anyone finished their drink. Despite boasting crisp writing, a lovable cast, and a Boston bar that felt like home, Cheers barely made a ripple in the Nielsen ratings that year. In fact, during its debut season, it scraped the very bottom, finishing dead last out of all network shows. Any other program might have been pulled faster than you can yell "Norm" across the room. But NBC, taking an unusual gamble at a time when patience was rare, held on. What convinced them? Rave reviews from TV critics and a passionate handful of viewers, all insisting the scripts and performances were a cut above average sitcom fare. Characters like Sam Malone, played by Ted Danson, and Carla, brought to life by Rhea Perlman, had already started to win hearts, even if only a few noticed at first. It's nearly impossible to imagine today a network sitcom on life support being given more time to prove itself. But Cheers slowly built steam, gathering loyal fans and clinching Emmy wins by its second season. It turned its early flop status into fuel for a generational hit. The next time you hear the theme song, picture that smoky bar in 1982, almost closing forever, if not for a little faith. Number 10. The bar is based on a real Boston pub. You can practically hear the clink of glasses and the laughter under low amber lights when you step into Cheers, on screen or in Boston. The thing is, the show's inviting bar wasn't pure imagination. The creators based Sam Malone's beloved hangout on the Bull and Finch pub, a snug neighborhood spot just off Boston Common. Before the series launched in 1982, production designers visited the Bull and Finch, snapping photos and sketching every wood-carved detail. Those references became the blueprint for Cheers' homie set. Tarnished brass rails, mismatched glassware, walls lined with Boston sports memorabilia. Even the bar's entrance, the short flight down from street level, mimics the authentic space. While the show eventually filmed on a Los Angeles soundstage, the DNA of that Boston pub never faded. Locals and tourists alike still wander into the real Bull and Finch, eager to grab a stool and soak up the atmosphere that inspired television legend. For some, tracing their fingers along the thick wooden bar transports them not just to a real Boston watering hole, but to a place where, just like in the theme song, everybody knows your name. As we raise a glass to this unforgettable locale, we can almost feel the warmth and hear the laughter echoing through the decades, drawing us deeper into the Cheers story.